The next step is going to be getting the servos dealt with, and we'll start by drilling out the servo arms to work with for the size of our hangers. So the first thing we want to do is get the hangers off of this blue foam. Be careful when you pull up this green tape. It's low stick tape, but we don't want to pull up the plastic coating that's on the blue foam. All right, so these are my coat hangers. They're off, and I am just going to cut out a coat hanger here. There we go. I know this is going to be long enough, so I'll just cut out the bottom section, throw out the rest of it, or make interesting things like chest-mounted camera harnesses, which is what actually is what's holding the camera to my chest right now as I do this demo. All right, so these are our servo horns. And we're going to want to use, there's one that, these are the ones that it came attached to. It's a little skinny because I'm going to have to drill it out to fit the servo, to fit the coat hanger as a push rod. So we'll instead go with this one right here, which is substantially more robust. We'll get both of those out. Where's that one right here? And there we go. All right, so these are our two servo arms, and we have the length of wire that we need to do it, that we're going to use as a push rod. And now we're going to need a drill bit that's basically the same size as this coat hanger. Maybe just a tiny bit smaller. It's generally better. It can't be a whole lot smaller, but and if you don't have a drill bit, you can also just use the sharpened end of the coat hanger to drill the arm out as well. All right, so there we are. I'm going to use, of course, the drill because I'm going to be fancy about it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to drill two places. This outer arm, I'm going to drill. This is for advanced flyers. I do it all three out. And then I'm going to do an inner arm, which is, let's make sure this is the right size. So before you drill all your servo arms, make sure that these are yeah, that's perfect. That's a good tight fit. And then drill the inner one, and this is for beginners. So that means that the throws will be less on the inner arm, and so the control surface will move less, and it'll be less touchy in airplane. But when you get better, you can move it all the way out, and you'll get a nice aerobatic aircraft that will really yank around. All right, I'm going to do the other one the same way. Doesn't really matter which side you do. Well, there is a sort of a spline arrangement on these. Let me take a look. So I looked really closely, and there's a 3 and a 4, and generally you can just see it in the mold. You want to do the opposite. There's a little mold number on here. You don't have to do this, but if the servo manufacturer is smart, what they do, they put the splines in such a way that they're slightly off kilter. And so there's a little mold number on there, a 3 and a 4 I found here. So I did one set of holes where the 3 or the 4 was, and I do the other set of holes on the other side that doesn't have a number. And hopefully that'll help me align the servos, because what happens is that they tend to sort of jank them a little bit differently, so that it's easier to get them at the exact same angle, which is what we're going to do next. All right, so over here we're going to cut off the parts that we didn't cut, the half that we didn't drill off. So I don't need it anymore. All right, and then we are going to get over here, pull off the screws that are holding these on. And here. So the next step is we're going to center these servos. And this is hugely important. So throttle down, power on for the transmitter, okay. And then we're going to verify that we have centers. So that's going to be that the trim tabs for for aileron and elevator are centered. Hear that long beep? That means it's centered. Right? Right, so those are both centered. And then we're going to power up the deck. All right. That sound is the motor saying it's armed. Okay, now we're going to try and put these on as vertically as we can. And I will demonstrate that as best as I can right here. So that is nice. That's about perfect. All right, so that's nice and vertical. And it's a little canted back. You know, a little more canted back than I like. Maybe I'll just do one. Try to go one little bit forward. No, that's canted forward more than it is back, so I'm going to go canted back a little bit. All right, so those are going to effectively be my centers. Just make sure I got the trim tabs right. So I'm going to go, yep, that's center. Okay, so that's the range of our trim. There it is. That's the center of that range for elevator in this case. We'll put it all back together. Now we're going to put in these screws once and for all. Okay, we're going to be messing with this with the deck powered up for quite a while, so be careful not to touch the throttle by mistake. If you're really paranoid, you can take the prop off. For bigger motors, you should take the prop off in this kind of situation, but these don't put out that much energy. I'm not that worried about it. But in general, that would be a good idea. Okay, so we now have working servos that are centered, look pretty reasonable, and they're pretty close to the same thing. So look, yep. They happen to be moving in the wrong direction. So the way this should work is that when I pull up, give an up command, which is pulling the stick down, both of these servo arms should actually go forward. And the way I'm going to fix that is I'm going to go into my reversing menu down here in the transmitter, and you'll see channel 2, which is elevator. And now they do the right thing. They go forward, yeah, in a coordinated fashion. You can see how the mixing is working maybe. And then left and right, that means that needs to be reversed as well. This is, so for left I want this surface to go up, so I'm going to reverse my aileron throws, which is channel 1. Perfect. So that is giving a left command. This servo goes forward, the left servo goes forward, and the right servo goes back, if you can see that. All right. So we have centered servos, and they're going the right direction. This is all very good and exciting. And we're now in a position to attach the deck. Oh, well, we're actually going to wait. We're going to turn this off now because we have to build the airframe. Sorry, got ahead of myself. Okay, always the deck is powered off first, and then the transmitter is powered off. All right, so we have centered servos, now we have a deck that's ready to attach, and now we're going to assemble the airframe.